Right, here's the deal. This lot, Leicester City Football Club, are celebrating their 120th anniversary. And to mark that occasion, we're going to show you 120 of the greatest goals in that time from some of the greatest players this club has ever produced.
Oh yes! Superb goal!
As in all good celebrations, there is something old.
Now Leicester centre-forward Ken Leake shot goal number 2.
There is something new.
Down to Dion Dublin! What a goal!
And there is something borrowed.
Marcus Bent goes for goal! Stunning effort!
And loads of good strikes from the boys in blue. They're all belters, but we're going to start with a mighty finish from a pint-sized hero who made one little man very happy.
I think we all felt, you know, from the age of sort of 16-year-old that Julian had something to offer the first team, and when he came in, he did exactly what we thought he would do. You know, he burst onto the scene with some really good performances in bursts, and that was Julian.
This is Joachim leading the breakout now for Leicester, and there are plenty in it. He's got Mills steaming up at his shoulder. Uses him as the decoy, goes alone! It's just a brilliant goal by Julian Joachim.
I don't think Julian was marked down as that type of player. You know, you'd probably expect that from a flamboyant flair-type midfielder, not somebody who was darting and quick. You'd expect him to get on the end of one-on-ones and just sort of poke them or toe poke them in or knee them in or get his head on the end. But the goal and the finish was something really special. And the way he took it is something that I'll always remember.
Right, the only thing that Leicester City fans always ask me is about the goal against Leeds. How did I do it? Well, I'm about to show you. Before they unearthed video, so to speak, I always told everybody it was about 85 yards. And of course, over the years, I've had to dilute that a wee bit. The 85 went to 75, went to 65, 55 over the years, 45, and I've been told the true distance of that goal was from 85 yards with Birch's fibs was down to actually 35.
Stringfellow trying to knock it back to one of his own men, he wasn't there. Stringfellow gets another bite. Chance on for Birchinall, a whack one, and it's a beautiful goal! What about that one with his left foot? 2-0 Leicester!
It was a great ball played into Mike Stringfellow. Billy Bremer went to tackle him, he missed his tackle. Stringy just backheeled it into my path and I just unleashed, you know, the old claw. And it screamed in the top corner, and it took them 3 days to actually catch me after that goal with the celebrations I was doing.
Yes! Alan Birchinall!
Oh dear, oh memories, memories.
Move over, Birch, because here come 3 goals of special significance to Leicester City fans. May 2002, the last ever league fixture at Filbert Street. Paul Dickoff getting the first on an emotional day's football. Relegation was calling, but so too was a new exciting life at the Walker Stadium. Late in the game, the scorer of the last ever league goal at Filbert Street, Matt Piper. Despite the relegation, it was a happy day. And after Piper and Dickoff had rung out the old, time for Brian Deane to ring in the new with the first competitive goal at the Walker Stadium. It was the first of 2 for him that day, earning him a place in the club's history forevermore.
Still get the feeling that Leicester could well snatch something yet. Here's Worthington. Chipped in again towards Bob Lee. He lets it go there. Oh, and what a good goal! Scored by John Samuels.
Most players will tell you that they always like to do well and score a goal against the previous club. I think the game ended in a 1-1 draw, and I think we were losing 1-0 and they got the equaliser. So yeah, that's a nice goal to remember.
It was a great game of football. It was one of those classic Wembley final type of things which people talk about. And for all, it's a great game to be involved in. I don't think I've ever been as gutted after a game as I was then. I mean, it just completely knocked the stuffing out of me. You know, it was awful.
They've gone from left to right flank. Summerby whips it into Maskell. Well played. Hoddle. On it goes to Maskell, he's onside. He has Mitchell in the box, otherwise it's full of Leicester defenders. So he goes outside the box to Moncur. Good run by him, and now Maskell! And it goes high towards Taylor. Walsh got there ahead of him though. Moncur plays it back in again, and no offside! And Taylor has scored! And that surely means it's the Premier League for Swindon Town now. Whitlow has Philpott hugging the left touchline. And Oldfield gets it back to him. That's a good ball. Philpott's cross is an excellent one. Walsh is there! And Joachim buries the rebound! Leicester have a moment of hope. And still Mills, and still. And he curls it beautifully over to the far post. Philpott turning it back in again. Walsh goes up to the keeper, and it's in! It's 3-2! Now Walsh, what a hero he's been, a part in both the goals, scored the second, of course. Whitlow drives forward now. He's got Joachim and looks for Thompson, and Thompson has equalised! It's unbelievable stuff now! Knocks it long for White, and White steals in and goes down, and it's a penalty! The referee has given a penalty for a foul on the substitute. Paul Bodin from the spot for Swindon. He scored! It's all over! A Wembley classic has ended with victory for Glenn Hoddle and a place in the Premier League for Swindon Town. You can only feel deeply, deeply sorry for Leicester City. For the second time in 12 months, they've tasted defeat. For the 6th time in their history, they've come to Wembley and they will go home losers.
If we'd been 3 up and lost 4-3, everybody would have been chucking seats at us, you know. But the fact that we were 3 down and come back, and then, you know, we're just completely devastated. It was a penalty, wasn't it, at the end? I think, oh, I hate that game. I hate thinking about it, to be honest, you know.
Lennox has the chance to run at the West Brom defence. Oh, he's such a talented player. He's inside 2 defenders, and he has finished superbly. Great goal, Steve Lennox.
Arne Gunnlaugsson packed a pretty hot shot for a man from Iceland. This spectacular volley, 6 minutes from time to clinch an FA Cup victory at Villa Park, is the first of 3 entries from him in our countdown.
Leeds arriving in support here. Paul Reed onto the left foot. Oh, splendid! Simply splendid from Paul Reed. It was a wonderful, crisp strike. And Portsmouth had simply no answer to this. Little weave, and then thump into the back of the net. Great goal.
Leicester playing against that wall of sound. Earl, Glover, and yes, the goal stands. The ball played through by Worthington. That's Steve Earl. Clever there, just squeezing through. Clements missed it, and it's 1-8.
Portsmouth supporters were due for a nasty shock when they steamed along to Highbury hoping to see their team beat Leicester. Arriving in full battle regalia, they gave the impression of great confidence in their side. Leicester City, a second division team, didn't show any signs of an inferiority complex when they led the way onto the ground. Field Marshal Lord Montgomery, the chairman of the Portsmouth club, had issued an order of the day to his team saying, "You've got to win," and there he was, hoping to see his instructions carried out. Portsmouth kicked off, looked as if they were going to settle everything quickly, but Leicester had a different tale to tell. Presently Griffiths on the wing passed the ball to Lee. Lee switched it to Reevy, whose shot gave Butler no chance of saving at all. The equalising goal came after half an hour when Newell made a long pass down the centre. Harris raced after it, closely pursued by Plummer. Then with a swift low shot, Harris banged the ball home. With the score 1-1 at half-time, Pompey still looked decisive winners, but it was not to be. For 2 minutes after the changeover, Chisholm gathered up a pass in the penalty area and steered the ball into the net. Portsmouth, now fighting back hard, thought they'd got on equal terms again when Harris shot completely wide, right in front of an open goal. This seemed to inspire Leicester City, and a few minutes later they scored their third goal through Reevy. Leicester supporters, of course, were overjoyed, for now they could see their team at Wembley. But they wonder why he looked so glum. Indigestion?
United one up here. Leicester trying to do something about it with Steve Guppy. Here's Zagorakis. Can he get his shot in? Yes, he can! And it's a screamer from Theo Zagorakis! What a superb goal! Well, Leicester are playing with so much confidence at the moment. Cambridge is simply being unpicked. This is Tommy Wright. He's going to go for it from distance. Great strike.
Referee plays the advantage. Could be a good one if Bent can stay onside, waiting for some support. Jordan Stewart might hit it himself, and he does. Oh, what a fantastic goal! Jordan Stewart has put Leicester in front. They've had to soak up so much of the pressure, and they've got a goal, and it's Jordan Stewart, and it's a fine effort from the Leicester number 11.
Tony Cottee was probably one of the most prolific goal scorers at the time for the club. He wasn't one for long-range efforts. He was, you know, a good goal scorer, if you like. He'd be in and around the 6-yard box and picking up the scraps and stuff.
Sinclair, Heskey in the middle, Cottee towards the penalty spot. Heskey's cross, Cottie's in there! Oh, terrifically neat finish! It's a goal that sums up a career. Tony Cottee stole to the near post, and when Frank Sinclair took the fullback out of the game, Tony Cottee got his angles absolutely right, and Leicester City are a goal to the good.
Well, the chip might be just a little too long, although Heskey has done well to keep it in, and Robbins, the overhead kick, and a wonderful finish. Well done, Henry Heskey. Top marks, Mark Robbins.
Tommy Williams to take the free kick.
Peak, Linex. Melrose, yes! And he's up on his level one.
On by Bent. Dickoff, yes! Leicester are in dreamland here. 2-0 up. With barely a quarter of the match gone.
And of course, many a goal was scored when the Walkers Stadium was just a twinkle in the eye of the Leicester faithful. No more than 3 years ago, it was over at Filbert Street where the masses would gather to acclaim their heroes and marvel at the delight served up by the legends of the past. Remember this one?
Peak. 3 runners ahead of him. Oh, I say, what a cracking goal. Well, they gave him the room to run into. The 3 running up ahead of him added to that room. I think Watford were thinking in terms of the pass, but I doubt if the thought even crossed Peak's mind. Andrew Smith got a knock on the temple a few moments ago. And there's Peak! Oh, I say, he's done it again! That was a marvellous attempt, and how well he succeeded.
Well, there's plenty to aim for here. 5 blue-shirted Leicester players up on the edge of the penalty area. Will be headed back towards Kitson. Whoa, they don't get much better than that. Paul Kitson didn't have too much time to think about what he was going to do, and the outcome was superb.
There are plenty of spectacular efforts from Muzzy, is it? Here's a headed goal from the Turkish international from a memorable day at Derby. The Foxes went on to clinch a 4-0 victory against their East Midland rivals.
Roberts has made the run. The Welshman is on the end of it. He's onside, and he's scored.
In goes Nellis. It's called goal from Ben Thatcher. Back at White Hart Lane. He does claim, he does attack, and he does everything right there. It's a beautiful corner because it's right on the 6-yard box. Plumb in the middle of goal when it's dropping.
Gary could score spectacular goals because he was a very sweet striker of the ball. Folk that know Gary McAllister, he's an all-round sportsman. You play him at snooker, you ain't got a chance. Your cue's very nice. You play him at golf, you ain't got a prayer, he's off too. And he hits the ball at the sweet spot all the time. You play him at table tennis. He's just got that eye-hand coordination. It's just fantastic, and he's got it in a lot of sports.
McAllister and Wilson weighing up the possibilities here for Leicester. Venus left it, McAllister. That's a very good goal. Scored by Gary McAllister. Venus moved away. McAllister curled it with his right foot, down low to the right of the goalkeeper.
He was a neat and tidy player, technically very, very good. Excellent right foot, and his left foot improved as he played.
Worthington down for Weller. Weller attacking Albiston. Now McElroy. Did well, did very well. Here's Garland. Yes! Yes, sir! Oh, he measured that one to an inch. Superb goal by Chris Garland, which breaks a non-scoring run stretching back some 8 games. 1-0 Leicester. 8 minutes of the game gone. Garland starting it, feeding the ball to Weller. Took on Albiston, did him. Took on McElroy. A measured cross, far post. Garland measured his header and beat Stepney all ends up.
Smith and Lineker and now Wilson.
And he scored for Leicester.
Well, it's a goal they threatened to get once or twice in the first half, but they haven't really caused Fulham any real problems in the second until now. Lineker playing it there into the path of Ian Wilson. And away past the diving body of Payton into the corner of the net.
The year 1955 and Leicester City's first league appearance on the BBC Highlights show. The match at Filbert Street. In November of that year, the visitors, Swansea Town.
And rolling again for Leicester, going through, and he shoots, and he comes in, and it's there! The goal for Leicester. That was a goal was scored by the outside right Welsh international Mal Griffith. And here's Mal Griffiths racing through, and here's a goal! A goal there by Willie Gardner, the Leicester centre forward. Just 15 minutes gone in the second half, and that makes it Leicester 2, Swansea 0. Parker with a free kick. It's towards Grayson, it's in! An equaliser from Simon Grayson. And it has been coming.
Well, the war's being organised. Who's going to take this? It's Arne Gunnarsson! What a special goal that was! Curling away from the goalkeeper. Picked his spot and found it to perfection.
I want slightly more positive action from Leicester. His tendency to hold and look and let the defence come back and cover. Here's John Samuels. That's a good shot! Why doesn't he do that more often is the question which one always feels like asking when he gets a goal like that. John Samuels, a really cracking shot from a difficult angle. Sheer pace beat the goalkeeper.
I think I had a reasonably good shot in both feet, and perhaps people thought she could have shot more, but there was other people there to put the ball in the net.
Scoring the goals, there's not that many I can remember how I did it. In fact, I've seen goals that are scored on television that I have no recollection of whatsoever, which is a bit scary. I remember a hat-trick one morning against Aston Villa. I think it was a 12 o'clock kick-off, and I scored 3 in the first half. Quite enjoyed that.
The guy was the type of guy, I mean, maybe get 4 or 5 chances, but he would always put one away, you know. Might miss a few, but would always get in the score sheet, so you always knew that you were going to get a goal from him, which was quite nice. And on his day, he scored some hat-tricks, but he always got chances, and you know he'd always get one.
Lineker up with the Larks to complete an early morning hat-trick, the first of many significant trebles for both club and country.
I think one of my favourite Leicester goals was years and years ago, scored by Steve Earle when we played Leatherhead in the Cup in 1974.
A floater, and it's in by Earle!
I think the Nallis goal was brilliant, and I'd love to see him have a few more shots like that. He just clipped it straight into the back of the net. It was absolutely brilliant.
Nallis! What a goal! That is outstanding!
remember Joe Chim's away at Barnsley with the outside of his foot.
Goes alone! That's just a brilliant goal by Julian Joachim.
Steve Walsh's equalised against Arsenal 1997.
Yes! Yes! Would you believe it?
My favourite goal's got to be Stevie Claridge in the player final against Crystal Palace.
Stevie Claridge has given Leicester a place in the Premiership.
Leicester have the chance to break at pace here. G avoids the challenge and scores a cracking goal. How good was that from Phil G? Rode the challenge and then let fly inches between goalkeeper and the post.
Taggart. In at Marshall. Chance! 2-2! Steve Walsh! Marshall's touch was key, but Walsh's finish was a finish that meant something. Pick that one out.
Whitlow goes really well there as Ashcroft sold himself rather. Parker helping it on to Robbins. Now Whitlow again. Roberts on the far post. He's played it in behind him. And Taylor comes in and has got a second goal for him and a third goal for Leicester City.
I like to see combination goals. I like to see goals that result from good football, because those are the goals you're trying to score. Those are the goals that you're working at to score. The goal that the individual scores, whether he beats somebody, whether he shoots from 35 yards, those goals aren't goals that you've coached. Goals from set pieces are of course goals that you like to see be scored because you do work at them. But anything that's born out of coaching and the way you want the team to play, and in particular, as I say, team play, are the best goals for me.
Here's Ramsey. Robert Kelly's onside. With plenty of space as well. His first touch wasn't good, but his second was sensational. The perfectly flighted chip, and the goalkeeper's left scrambling.
Right, now goals come in all shapes and sizes, and any great striker will tell you you can nudge it in from any part of your body. Oh, no, well, not that part, oh dear. And of course, the most popular way is off the foot. Steve Claridge once had cause to thank his shin, but more of that later. And at number 80 is a man who followed the old advice, if in doubt, use your head.
Here's Guppy. That'll be cleared away, but should be picked up by Savage now, who has the time to look. It's Marshall! It's a goal for Leicester. The big man rises to the occasion. Perfect ball by Savage. And when you have a man with the presence of Marshall in the middle, that's always likely to be the outcome. Perfect placement.
Here's Thompson. Joachim alongside him. Still with Thompson. It's a great goal! And that might well settle it.
Roberts. And here comes Gibson, number 10, with a lot of room. There's Dugan, and that'll be number 1, the first goal this season against Sheffield Wednesday, scored by Dugan. 32 minutes gone.
Robbins. Grayson to Watts. Claridge. Now Robbins. Good shot on the turn!
Oh, that's a great goal, isn't it? That justifies everything, doesn't it?
Well, Martin O'Neill was saying beforehand, it's a gamble to put him in, but it might just be the night when Mark Robbins' season takes off. And that was a stunning goal.
Ball across is dangerous. Roberts with a header. Well, it's not been cleared. Agnew. Whitlow! Oh, great strike by the left back. Roberts heading it back into danger. It was only half cleared. Agnew saw that Whitlow was in plenty of space and he drills it in first time.
Muzzy has it once again. It broke for Scowcroft. Oh, what a fabulous goal, and Leicester have indeed snatched an equaliser.
Here's Heskey. Now, where's he going? Well, he's been given room to run here. Oh, great goal! Emil Heskey might appear to have been in two minds to start with. But this was a finish of a single-minded striker.
We're in stoppage time. Roberts has found Joachim again. And again, it's Julian Joachim once more. And now it's 3-1. And now they have won the game. Julian Joachim confirms his return to the side with his second goal of what has been a memorable afternoon for Leicester City.
It's Oldfield who'll head it back. And David Kelly. Stunning strike. So pleasing on the eye. And wonderful agility here from Kelly. Oldfield does well with a header, but what a finish.
So this classic David and Goliath battle about to get underway. Leatherhead the side to kick off.
Leatherhead, oh God, nightmare.
And Leicester uncertain at the back. That was Lavers, McGillicuddy, and it's there! The Amateurs have taken the lead, and the shock result is on. Oh, Kelly got there! Chris Kelly has done what he said he would do, but even he must have doubted whether he would have made it 2-0 to Leatherhead in 27 minutes.
We looked at each other, we're 2-0 down against Leatherhead from the Isthmian League or somewhere like that. Didn't even, with all due respect, know where Leatherhead was. The lip was giving us lip all through the first half, and then as we came out the second half, I saw it, I had the nightmare. The Leatherhead lip rounded Mark Wallington and only had to roll the ball into the net for 3-0 dead.
Oh my word, this could be 3 if he does the shuffle. He has. And he got back. Well, that would surely have settled it. Steve Earle. Now Weller. Whitworth will go up on the right. 3 in the middle for him. Yes! Samuels! Certainly the best move that Leicester have put together, and the first time, really, they've looked like a First Division side. Whitworth overlapping on the right, taking it from Weller. A good cross, and John Samuels scoring only his second goal of the season. But how vital that goal might be for Leicester City. So this could be a tense moment for Leatherhead. Worthington, of course, can strike them with his left foot. A floater, and it's in by Earle. Relief for Leicester, and bitter disappointment for Leatherhead. The free kick by Worthington curled round the wall. Swannell got to it, couldn't hold it, and Steve Earle put it in. It's 2-2 now. There's Earle. Worthington not marked, and it's there by Weller. For once, Leatherhead there were really pulled apart. Their marking wasn't good from the cross. Worthington all alone, knocked it down, and Keith Weller doesn't miss those. The fairy tale may be over.
And here's Joachim, 3 against 2 here. Doesn't know whether just to keep possession or try and put it beyond Spurs. It's played David Lowen.
Here's Tommy Wright now. Chance for Leicester to stretch this Grimsby defence. What's Wright got ahead of him? Oh, he's going by himself! Oh, what a great goal! You will not see many better goals than that. Great run from Tommy Wright. And he still had the balance and the presence of mind to finish like that.
Stringfellow. In comes Gibson. Oh, lovely lob and goal number 3. 48 minutes gone. A wedding present for Davy Gibson. Leicester leading 3-0.
Next, a second pearler from Paul Reed. Yes, this one voted the Supporters Club goal of the season in 1989-1990.
Again, Elliott and Walsh are forward. Goppy's free kick. Elliott's up there. Away as far as Savage, who declines the chance to cross instantly. Gives it instead to Lennon. Lennon with a clever ball. Cotty's in there! It's another absolutely splendid finish. And it just gives Leicester the tiniest glimpse of Wembley. It's Tony Cotty's tie. And just how nimble is this fella in front of goal?
Well, this was an incredible goal. I mean, this little fellow, he's electric in the penalty area. It was a wonderful goal.
Many of the Leicester legends scored their goals in the days before regular television coverage. Men like Derek Hines, Ernie Hine, and the club's record goalscorer.
Arthur Chandler, against Portsmouth, scored 6 goals in a match which Leicester won 10-0. Channy had scored 5, and there across the sky came 5 beautiful swans, slipping away. And all the crowd said, "Channy, oi, 5 swans, Channy, look, 5, you scored 5. See? And everybody cheered and clapped and so forth. I don't know how many minutes elapsed, a few minutes elapsed, when there was what I would call tail end Charlie, another old one, you know, the last one left in line, came another swan coming on, trying to catch up. And everybody saw, hey, there's another book up there, Chuck, get it, score another one, Chuck, score another one. And he did. So the 5 swans became 6, and Channy's 5 goals became 6 goals. That's true. I was there, I saw it.
6 of the best from Chandler, it contributed to his record haul. And among the greats in the club's records sits the most prolific striker in Football League history. And what a goalscorer he was, the legendary Arthur Rowley.
Arthur was a big, strong lad, you know. The top of his thighs were enormous. And he could kick a ball with his left foot. His right was pretty useless, but his left foot was lethal.
He used to go through about 3 or 4 half-backs a season because he never worked back. Whenever he got the ball, he was always using his ability, his strength to get himself in the shooting position and score goals. And he always used to line himself up, and he had a tremendous shot. His timing, and people used to bounce off him and things. So once he got the ball, you weren't sort of expecting it back.
towards Nixon and turned into his own net. It's an own goal. Speedy will claim it. It doesn't matter who got the final touch. What does matter is that could be the goal that takes Leicester City back to Wembley. A beautifully taken free kick by Blake. Nixon went for it and missed it. Speedy came in with a defender. It's an own goal by Garnett. That's the main thing from Leicester's point of view.
Lawrence. Chance to get a long cross in. Grayson coming in from this side. Marshall, one more! What a goal! A super strike from Ian Marshall, his 5th goal of the season. And that was a real stunner.
For all you young Leicester City fans out there, just go and ask your fathers or your grandfathers who was Leicester City's most flamboyant, entertaining player that they ever saw at Filbert Street. So who did he say? The most flamboyant, charismatic, skillful? Well, of course, there's only one, isn't there? Frank Elvis Presley Worthington.
Glover's got the speed, but there's only one man in the middle, that's Birchnall. Keith Weller overlapping on the right. Weller with a cross. And the ball is still in play. Birchnall again, it's there! A beautiful goal by Worthington. Arsenal stood absolutely still on that. They thought the ball was going out of play on the first move. An overhead kick by Alan Birchnall, and Frank Worthington was in there to score Leicester's first ever goal against Arsenal in the history of the FA Cup.
Right, time now for a third and final entry from Arne Gunnlaugsson. His trio includes this fantastic curling effort against Derby.
I suppose as I was getting older in the teens and stuff, I found myself in the position to score goals and didn't do too bad at that job. So I suppose I started as a centre half actually when I was at Cambridge United for a little while when I first went there on trial. And then I went forward and scored a couple of goals and I've not looked back since.
It's a long searching ball, which Connolly will knock down to Dion Dublin. What a goal!
It's all about technique, it's all about the way you strike the ball, and it's very, very satisfying. But like I said, I probably ran 5 yards to score that goal, get myself in a position to score the goal after he was knocked down, you know? And it's coming to me, I fired it and I've shot. So that's a 5-yard run, you catch it beautifully, it looks nice, and you feel very satisfied.
Walsh has found Robbins though. Charged down by Pearson, Robbins in there again. Still a chance, Walsh is there, Heskey's there, hit the bar, Claridge, Heskey, yes!
We had great times at Leicester and everything. We stayed up in the first season. We came into the Premier League and won a cup, so it was great times. I think I got the header first onto the bar, and it bounced down, and there was me and Steve Claridge there, just scrambling, trying to get it in, and I remember just seeing it and just poking it in really, you know, to make it 1-1, and it was a great day for us.
They just will not lie down. Spirit, they have it by the lorry load.
I don't really get tap-ins, to be honest. I wouldn't mind getting a few more. They're the ones I like.
That was Worthington, and here's Glover. Oh, yes! What a fine goal. Mellor could do nothing about that one. And Len Glover, who's been Leicester's most dangerous forward in this first half, gets his name on the score sheet. The free kick taken by Monroe. Worthington
who got to it, laid it on, and a fierce drive from Glover ties it up at 1-1.
Thank you. If there's one player that should have had England caps and didn't, you know, it would be Lenny Glover. It was like a telepathic understanding between us, and the ball would come into me, and immediately I would know exactly where Lenny Glover was going to be. It was just beautiful. It was fantastic.
There was no better way for Leicester to mark the end of their first full season at their new home than by clinching promotion back to the Premiership. The rise was confirmed with a 2-0 win against Brighton in April 2003, marking a special end to Mickey Adams' first full season in charge. After Muzzy Izzet's opener, Jordan Stewart sealed the victory with a second. Certainly not the most spectacular goals ever seen at the Walkers, but undoubtedly two of the most significant.
Looking to turn, Dodd, good ball through to Lynex. Lovely goal from Steve Lynex, who really thundered that one past John Burridge. Alan Smith turning Dodd. And what a glorious ball through then to Lynex. And Burridge, only a post, stood no chance.
Gavin Ward, long way outside his penalty area. Clearance is a long one. Roberts challenges. Half away, Coatsworth! Gary Coatsworth with an absolutely magical goal on the volley and in the blink of an eye in the back of the net.
Sjoberg, Brown, Leicester looking lively. Farrington, Whitworth going up on the outside for him. Brown. Oh, and a good piece of play here as Whitworth comes in on the blind side, and Fern! No, yes! Whitworth, and the goal is given! And it's Steve Whitworth who puts it in! Well, he made a great run, Whitworth, all the way. By my reckoning, the first goal he scored in the first team.
Henderson to Wilson, a good ball, Lineker coming round the back. Gary Lineker's first ever goal in the First Division, and he couldn't have timed it better. Intelligent play by Lineker in the final minute of the first half, sneaking round the back of the Coventry defence as the ball was played into him, and he did enough with the shot to get Leicester back on level terms.
I like to see the ball played through the field, several passes, good passes. That makes a good goal, but of course sometimes there's a brilliant dribble and a great shot, or even a fine header from across.
I think I'm like a fan. I want to see the spectacular. I want to see the volleys and the long run stuff.
I think any goal that gives you an achievement is a great goal to witness.
Walsh run it, it's Claridge, it's in!
Any goal's a good goal, and I think goal scorers will tell you that.
Scoring a goal was for me anyway, the best feeling that you can have as a footballer during the game, apart from actually winning.
On by Bent. Dickoff, yes!
As a manager, you don't care how the ball gets in the back of the net, as long as it hits the back of the net.
Wembley Way, a familiar trail for Leicester fans in the 60s. 2 years after their defeat in the 1961 final, the Foxes returned again.
Manchester United, that galaxy of stars who have often disappointed, but who today believes their renowned manager, Matt Busby, on the right, will dazzle the football world.
I remember I got through early in the game. Ken Lewis running and there was a defender before him. So I'd got to get by the defender to let Kewis slide in. I put it too hard, actually.
Leicester show their genius for turning defence into attack. United's tough left half Morissetta's almost gives Stringfellow a scoring chance.
We did everything the opposite
to what we've been done. That we used to close people down, not let them play. We stood off Man United of all teams, and we got all these individual stars, and of course they were stroking, and we were letting them play and come at us, and it's what we hadn't done throughout all the years.
This looks more like the real Leicester City. Howard Riley has a try on the City right. At last, Leicester's persistence brings reward. City centre-forward Ken Keyworth scores. Tragically for Leicester, Banks fumbles. Ready to pounce on it is David Hurd. It's all over. The end of an exciting, very sporting game.
Any players probably playing in that season say, in a lot of ways, the highlights of their career, the best time that they ever had in football. In my case, it was. And also, it was probably the most disappointing.
Here's Gibson, already in his stride. Whoa! And what a strike! He knew exactly where he was going, and the goalkeeper could not do a thing about it.
Elliot, first time I ever saw Elliot play, I was at Doncaster versus Scunthorpe, and he was getting rave reviews for Scunthorpe at the time, and I went up on the Monday night. He had an absolute stinker. Remarkably, I picked up the paper the following Thursday, he's gone to Oxford, and then I got to know him because Oxford's down the road from Wickham. I used to go and watch Oxford play very often, and then he could realise he was a great player indeed.
Now it's Muzzy, is it? Savage again. Only Elliott in the box for Leicester, but he has a real presence. Oh! It's a super goal. Leicester go in front, and it's the makeshift centre forward, Matt Elliott.
Remember, we kept getting a lot of niggling injuries. The squad wasn't the biggest really, and I was getting shoved up front quite a lot. But it was enjoyable. I mean, I had nothing to lose, did I really? But yeah, that year 2000 did go well. A few goals flying in. I ended up with about 11 goals that season.
Esky is on the near post. Here's Elliott! The crossbar, but in! Matt Elliott strikes for Leicester City!
You just think about playing at Wembley, really. It's a magnificent thing, you know. It doesn't happen too often to players of our level.
Guppy now with the corner. It's Elliott! That's Elliott again!
It enters your mind about nicking one goal. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? But get two, I hadn't really even thought about that really. Some people might not think Worthington Cup's the biggest thing in the world, but for us at that time it was.
Kemba.
Virtually nothing to do, and suddenly a match in which Tottenham have had so many chances is tied up at one each.
August 1997, and one of the most celebrated goals ever scored at Filbert Street. No, not Dennis Bergkamp's wonder goal. I'm talking about Steve Walsh's late equaliser.
Gary Parker has placed it. Walsh arrives. Yes! Yes! Would you believe it? Oh, it's 3-3. The captain Walsh. It's a match to drain the emotions. He won the header first of all. It came back from Spencer Pryor, and then a pumping header from Walsh to hit the back of Arsenal's net.
It's Wilson. This is good football by Leicester. Good touches. Bobby Smith, can he finish it? Oh, you bet he can. Sublime. Simply sublime. Well, this was perfect football. Hardly a moment to think before every pass was played, and Bobby Smith with the perfect finish.
I've scored a few which I've been quite pleased with, so yeah, I've been quite lucky when it comes to sort of long range shots.
Is it? The keeper's a long way out, and it's there! Martin left totally stranded, and Muzzy is it? And a score.
It was another sort of volley from 35, 40 yards maybe that, I knew the keeper was off his line and there was only one place that I could really put it, and it was a looping volley really, so I had more time to think about that one.
Here we are in Walker's Stadium with plenty of reminders of some of the great players from the past. The Gordon Banks Lounge. Hold on, he was better for stopping goals than scoring them. Anyway, here we go, and a bit further on down here we have the Legends Suite. Don't think I'll be in there, but you never know, one day maybe. And of course the Gary Lineker Suite, and what can you say about Gary Lineker that's not already been said? Mr. Leicester City, of course, goes without saying, and amongst his many great goals for this club, this one comes in at number 40.
So a free kick for Tommy Williams from Leicester. Peake helps it on and into the boot of Terry. Cut up O'May. Getting Jacket in first. Wilson now, and O'Neill forward. And there goes Lineker again. He's in for another try, and he's put that one away. Goal number 1 for Leicester. Gary Lineker's second chance of the game. 1-0 Leicester. Lineker's 6th goal of the season. And Lineker had the legs of Terry. The big chap couldn't hold his feet. And this time, Lineker nicks it away neatly.
Straight up in the air from Fortune. Bent. Past Holland, returned by Izzet. Marcus Bent goes for goal! Stunning effort! What a way for Bent to bring up double figures for the season. It was touched back to Marcus Bent by Muzzy Izzet. And look at that for technique outside of the boot.
Some deep ball again. Heskey with a challenge. Away to Savage. Now here's Guppy. Heskey. He's playing a patient game here, Leicester, at the moment. Guppy again. He's done well here. Oh, he's done very well. Great curling shot that left Ed de Hoy floundering. And Steve Guppy with a real memorable goal for Leicester City.
David Speedy enjoyed a love-hate relationship with many Leicester fans. But few will ever forget this wonderful goal scored against Bolton.
Leicester City took the field at St Andrews for the second replay of the semi-final.
2 replays, and we thought it was never going to end. So the tension was unbelievable, because in them days, it was a big thing getting to the cup final.
Leak was going through when Sheffield goalkeeper Hodgkinson grabbed his foot. Penalty. Hodgkinson saved King's shot. What an escape for Sheffield. No score at half-time. Then the game sprang into dramatic life. The ball went to the Leicester right wing. Howard Riley had it. He tried a shot. Hodgkinson only partly cleared, and Walsh banged it home.
Well, I scored the first goal in the semi-final. I played the ball down to Howard Riley. He set off down the line. And when Howard sets off, he's got to fizz one across. When the goalkeeper palmed it out, how I was there to put it back in. I don't know how I covered that ground that night, but I must have done it.
Well, if the chances was there, Jim knocked him in. He was a good goal scorer, Jim. It used to be an all-open game for us. You'd knock him over the centre half's head and Jim would go running around and knock him in the back of the net.
With luck, this might have been a second goal. Now Leicester centre-forward Ken Leake shot goal number 2.
The ball was played through from the halfway line. I was about 20-25 yards out on the left-hand side, which was my favourite side because I was left-footed. And I just took the chance and hit it and caught it well and went straight into the top corner.
Kenny Leake was a good goal scorer. If you look at the records, we had as good a side as there's been at Leicester.
At last, Leicester City had shown their real form. They didn't relax their grip on the game, and when the last whistle was blown, they had won the semi-final 2-0. Already, Leicester City fans are saying, Spurs, look out!
And Blockley's come up too, with Wymart marking him. In goes Walk. Oh, that's there! And that's a fine goal from Worthington. It looked as if this long free kick was going out of play, and perhaps one or two of the less experienced Ipswich players should have put it out of play, but Worthington coming in fast behind, and particularly on his left foot. Bingo!
Lennon. Heskey. Nice turn. Heskey draws away from Venice's challenge. What a goal! Oh! That's the goal of the season. It's got to be a super strike from Emil Heskey.
At 18 years of age, as he was then, he could do the lot. He was powerful. He could have played centre half. He could have headed as well as anybody. And he's another one, despite being so young. He had a great influence on the field. Very quiet lad. But it was great to have him.
Weller! Oh, yes! Oh, what a smashing goal! Well, we waited 70 minutes for a goal, but we've got one to remember. From the corner, a real cracker by Keith Weller.
McCleary's clearance. Leeburn touching it on. Grant trying to get in behind Grayson, who did really well. That's good defending by Grayson. Oldfield. Now Mills. Roberts calls for the high ball and gets what he calls for. Oh, yes! It has to be the winner. Ewan Roberts. The whole stand is shaking with the joy that Ewan Roberts' face expresses. The joy of scoring what is surely the winning goal. What a superb header that was.
Parker with a free kick. Walsh is forward. Walsh on it. It's Claridge. It's in. Steve Claridge, who scored the most important goal in Leicester's recent history at Wembley last May to give them promotion, has scored a goal which could win them a cup final now. It's the greatest day in Leicester City's history. A major success for the team who started the season as favourites to fail. Steve Claridge is their match winner. And all the millions spent on the glittering stars who've lit up the English season, and the first major trophy of the season goes to one of the country's bargain hunters, and Martin O'Neill, who just a year ago was facing demonstrations, is now a part of Leicester City's history.
Steve, let's have a quick word about the goal, very briefly. It's happened again. I mean, it just popped out. I think Waller's got into it. I've just managed to nick it in the corner. It's just fabulous. Can't believe it again.
And tonight, it's glory and silverware for Leicester City. Encouragement for every club in the country who is not made of money.
I remember going
against Wolves here. That must have been, that was First Division. And Alan Smith scored an absolute screamer from the top corner.
Goes Alan Smith, Lineker, came off Dodd. Only half cleared. Oh, what a goal from Alan Smith! What a goal that was!
We played together and we seemed to click straight away, Alan. You know, he was tall, good in the air, decent touch, good hold-up player.
Alan was a very difficult guy to play against. He was tall, lean, and he had this great ability to, you know, reach out and get the ball with his dangly leg and that. So you couldn't really get in front of him, which you used to try and do in those days. You just had to let him have it and lay it off, really. But he was a tremendous player for a big guy, yeah.
More magic now from this man.
Weller! Oh, yes! Oh, what a smashing goal!
Keith was, he was a class player.
Yeah, Weller was just a terrific player and caused so many problems down the road.
Weller, what a good player this man is. Beautiful stuff.
He used to just sort of glide past defenders on that right-hand side.
Sort of players that you'd pay to watch. They could do things that ordinary players couldn't.
Remember when he wore the tights on Match of the Day?
Weller. Henderson. On for Weller. Peaks in the middle. So is Buchanan. It's got to be pulled back now. Weller might go. Oh, it does! Oh, that's a brilliant goal. Keelan so much had his weight on the other side that he couldn't recover.
In the modern game, John Barnes, he wore them because it was cold. Keith wore them. His missus found them in his car on the Friday.
The white tights then, the week before that I made my debut against Oldham, it's in 1979. But I only came in really because Keith Weller was injured. So the next week, Weller comes back in my place and gets the gig and wears the white tights. Otherwise I'd have been famous for wearing white tights.
I like a long-range shot, I do. You know, they're the best, you know. The passing moves are good, you know, but, you know, you can't beat a 30-yard in the top corner. The ball's rolling towards you or across you and you're not far out, it's just lash it and see if it goes in, and it did for me on a couple of occasions.
Now Savage is onside, he's got a chance here. Touch might have let him down, he might have lost the opportunity. Oh no, he hasn't!
The Newcastle goal for me, you know, was just outside the box in the top corner. It was just a great feeling when you score. It's a feeling you can't put your finger on. In the midfield it was myself, Muzzy and Lennon. And Muzzy was the one who really got all the goals. Me and Lenny didn't really score much, but when we did score, you know, they usually weren't bad. Now, for me, that was one of the best teams Leicester's ever had under Martin O'Neill. It was a great team, a great team.
Neil Lennon, I was lucky because John and I saw him 3 or 4 consecutive games. I always thought him as a nice little passer, not so sure about his pace and things like that. But when you get an opportunity to watch a player for 3 or 4 consecutive games, then you realise he can do it. And he was enormous.
But the back heel couldn't be picked up by Price. It gives Leicester the chance to break forward again. Grayson getting it forward towards Joachim. Again he's turned Simons well. And suddenly Portsmouth are in trouble again. As Joachim goes through!
That year Portsmouth had finished so many points ahead of us, it was quite untrue. It was massively important for us to go into the second leg with a lead. Had we not done that, I think Portsmouth, with the record they'd had, could really have walked all over us. But the game was played at the City Ground in Nottingham because of the reconstruction at the old Filbert Street. And Julian just picked up the ball and just ran and went and then stuck it in with a great finish.
Now, if you want to make an impact on your full debut, try scoring the goal that all but confirms promotion to the Premiership. Do it on the first anniversary of Mickey Adams' managerial appointment at Leicester, and you've got the perfect combination for a memorable goal. Well, that's just what Tommy Wright achieved with this effort against Nottingham Forest. Hey, even if it was a tap-in.
Stringfellow, Worthington, Stringfellow! Oh, Steve Earle! 90 seconds to go and Steve Earle has got it! 1-0 Leicester!
Three of the 6 Premiership games that Leicester have won this season came in November. Only 2 wins in 23 league games since. Sinclair getting forward and looking for Paul Dickoff on the far post. That wasn't in the script, was it? And how ironic that it's a former Arsenal player who makes that little piece of history for the Gunners that little bit more difficult now.
If you're going to score a goal, it helps to do it in big games. And here's a man who did just that. With the first of 2 entries in the top 20, it's Steve Claridge. I hope you got that.
It's Heskey, it's a clever layoff, and it is by Claridge.
We were comfortable in the game, winning 1-0, and as I said, we had Frank sent off, and we were up against it. They'd equalised, and it looked really as though the game was drifting away from us. And then, you know, a special player did a special thing in the game.
Even wider is Impey now. He goes over the outstretched leg of the defender and hooks the ball across here. Oh, fantastic goal! Muzzy is it? What a goal from the Turkish international. That's right out of the top drawer.
It's just a spontaneous reaction to a cross, I think it was, from Andy Impey. It's one of them that they either go in or they sort of go miles over the bar, so I was fortunate it went in.
I'm not sure that he scored too many goals like he did there, but he was the one player in the team at that particular time that was more than capable of producing a bit of magic like that, and it was no real surprise that he did that.
You know, you mess about in training every now and then and try silly things, and it was probably one of them. We needed to get the win that night, and I say it's a cross from Andy Impey on the right, and I'd got one of the few times I actually got into the box, and it was sort of behind me. You know, it was a reaction, an instinct to try an overhead kick, and I think it went in the top corner, so it was quite lucky.
Wolves' Billy Wright and Leicester's Norman Plummer head the All-Midland finalists onto the Wembley turf for football's Game of the Year. There's a friendly handshake for the players from the Duke of Gloucester, representing the King, and Prince Philip, and then they're ready to go. Princess Elizabeth is in the royal box as 2nd Division Leicester, in white shorts, the Davids who knocked out so many Goliaths, start off at top speed. They're not afraid of the Wolf, however big and bad he's cracked up to be. In this goal-by-goal special edition, Pathé News brings you the full story of how, when giant killing was the fashion, Wolves, the hottest favourite in years, did come out top in the end. At first, Leicester do the attacking, but Billy Wright's men, cool and confident, have everything under control. And here comes the first nail in Leicester's coffin. Pye sends the ball to Hancock's, the winger sends it back, and Pye heads it home. Johnny Hancock's takes the kick. It comes over squarely. It looks perilous for Leicester. They just can't get the ball away from the danger zone. Billy Wright sends in a shot. It's only half cleared, and Jesse Pye bangs it home. With Leicester 2 down at half-time, few of the 100,000 crowd thought they could ever stage a comeback. But they reckon without little Mal Griffiths. With the ball seemingly tied to his feet, he runs through the Wolves' defence like kids through a sweet shop. A pass to Chisholm. Goalie Williams parries the inside forward shot, but Griffith is there to send it back into the back of the net. Wolves manager Stan Cullis is getting anxious now, for this is more like the old Leicester that humbled mighty Pompey. The second division boys are giving more than they get when fate deals them a sudden, bitter blow. From an acute angle, Ken Chisholm nets the ball, but the referee rules him offside and disallows the goal. Down sink Leicester hearts, and Wolves can think themselves lucky to have escaped. And again the Wolves are on the prowl. Smooth first-time football splits the Leicester defence wide open. The ball goes to Sammy Smythe, number 8, and it's curtains for Leicester as the Irishman smashes it home. The two skippers shake hands, and another Wembley's over as Princess Elizabeth presents Billy Wright and the triumphant Wolverhampton team with football's most coveted honours. Their average age 24. These young Wolves prove that England need have no fears about the future of football. With men like Billy Wright and his team, Bill Shorthouse and all, winning the Magic Cup, England's soccer glories are in safe hands.
Charlton Athletic know what's coming. It's Ferdinand! Smashed home! There's no stopping a rocket shot like that. The cheers, though, are muted. Super strike.
Les, he came into the football club and people said that he'd really come to earn his last few quid, but he was more than that. You know, he was an inspiration for the younger professionals at the football club. He conducted himself in the perfect way, but what he did was he scored goals, and I think that's why we brought him into the club in the first place. Certainly free kicks in and around the edge of the box, he had a ferocious shot on him, and any sort of ball that you put in with any real quality, either from a set piece or from a cross, he was on the end of it 9 times out of 10.
Goal 16 was one born out of necessity, coming at the end of a turbulent season.
I think it was the first 18 games I had a wonderful time. I think we were in a bad position when I came at Christmas. We escaped with a terrific run with good players like Nicky Cross at inside right, Mike Newell, Gary McAllister quite obviously, and Russell Osman. And when I lost Osman, Newell and McAllister, slowly we disintegrated a little bit, and I think the Achilles heel for me at this club was I couldn't find a centre-half to replace Osman.
Pleat went, Gordon Lee was brought in to halt what looked like inevitable relegation. But he still faced a final day must-win match against Oxford.
We've been going downhill the last 3 or 4 years, and 3 or 4 years very badly. And to some extent, you know, where we sit tomorrow morning is the culmination of that. We've got to do something about that. It doesn't matter whether we finish 22nd or 23rd tomorrow. There'll be a radical rethink about what we're doing correctly and what we are not doing correctly.
It was a very tense day. I mean, we had an awful season really, and we just managed to stay in with the shout till the end of the season.
What I remember, you know, of the goal, it was just, you know, I think it was a cross into the back post and James just slid in, put it in for about 4 or 5 yards if my memory serves me right.
When he got forward, he always tried to, you know, stick a ball in the net, but a very unlikely score. And I mean, he's a great hero now because of it. You know, he's held in high esteem.
It was just, you know, the actual atmosphere after the game, the final whistle, that would actually kept the club in the first division.
The great atmosphere in the stadium and that, but I mean, most of the lads were in tears in the change room, you know, because they just couldn't hold it together. But just delighted that we stayed up, and the fans were tremendous that day. But very, very tense day indeed.
I dread to think where the club would be now if we went through the trapdoor into the old second division, because it's a long way back, as some clubs have found, to their detriment. But that was a massive goal for the club, and it was one. It was not the most spectacular goal by any manner of means, but it may be one of the most influential goals that this club have ever witnessed.
Clearance will cover some distance. Pallister with a header away. This is Savage. Parker. It's a delicate chip inside a penalty area, and Cotti! Oh, as impish as you like from little Tony Cotti. Henningberg was beaten all ends up. who was claiming the push, but it was a real poacher's finish from Tony Cottee. Parker's chip, and Berg doing his best to keep Cottee at bay, but beaten by the bounce. And Cottee scores.
Ian Wilson. Larry May up, this drops then. Oh yes! Superb goal! Lineker really put that one away. Here he is now. Lineker belts that in. So it's 2-1.
I started watching Leicester in about 1981, so I've seen quite a few. Alan Smith.
And what a goal from Alan Smith! What a goal that was!
Was using it against Grimsby, I'd say. Great goal. Best goal I've ever seen.
Hooks the ball across here. Oh, fantastic goal! Muzzy hit it! What a goal from the Turkish international!
Remember, the ones I enjoyed most was Joe Waters scoring 2 at QPR.
Waters! Oh yes! Oh yes for the youngster! Waters again! I don't think he can possibly believe it!
Only Les Ferdinand goal last year.
It's Ferdinand! Smashed home!
Steve Walsh's headers that knocked Derby out, so we went up with the Premiership a few years back. Very good goals.
I think the one then Tony James scored and it kept us in the division. It was a great goal and very near the end, brilliant.
Dickoff, he scored some good goals.
On by Bent. Dickoff, yes! Leicester have got the best scoring record away from home in the division, and it's they who go on the attack first, with Heskey trying to get into a shooting position here and getting the ball across to Parker. Parker has scored! 30 seconds after the restart, Martin O'Neill's decision to restore Gary Parker to the Leicester team has paid off handsomely, and quite incredibly, it's the first goal that Parker has scored for almost 9 months. He scored in the first 3 matches of the season back in August, and none since.
In 1974, Leicester were back on the cup trail, and the usual suspects helped them through a 5th round tie at Luton to reach the last 8.
Wellington went in! 3-0!
I missed the quarter-final against QPR, and a little guy called Joey Waters came in and scored 2 great goals down at QPR. Took us through to the semi-finals.
Looking for Earl. Worthington. Waters. Oh yes! Oh yes for the youngster! Oh! He'll remember that all his life. What a way to start your career in big-time football. They were converging on him, and he came at it, and it screamed away. Paddy Waters, you'll go down in history for Leicester. You gave Phil Parks not a cat in hell's chance. Oh, he was in his own half, so he's all right. Waters again. I don't think he can possibly believe it. The break, the length of the field. And surely now Leicester City in the semi-final. Some of their supporters are joining the throng around Joe Waters. But the cry of easy, easy does less than justice either to their own team or to Rangers. In fact, that really is a classic story of football. It was going to be all about attacks, it was going to be all about goalkeepers, and in the end it's about a totally unknown youngster playing in his first match.
After winning the quarter-final, Leicester met the league champions Liverpool in the semis, but a 3-1 defeat meant that more dreams of cup glory were over.
It was a disappointment at the time, massive disappointment, because you always think while you're playing you're going to get to a cup final. But that was a good Liverpool side. They went on to beat Newcastle in a disappointing final, if I remember correctly. But we really fancied the chances that year, and I think if we'd have got to the final, we'd have beat Newcastle.
Cup fever just about reached its peak on Saturday when 133,000 turned out for the semi-final. 65,000 of them at Hillsborough, where a below-strength Liverpool were trying for Wembley against the pride of the Midlands, Leicester City. But Liverpool showed most of the early promise. Liverpool on the attack again, but no goal this time. In fact, for Liverpool, it was no goal at any time, although territorially they had the best of it. But it's goals that count. And here comes the decider by Leicester. It takes them to their second final in 3 years.
Sometimes if you've got a good position, you can line up and place your headers. Sometimes you're just heading towards goal. You know roughly where the goal is, but you can't really, you're not placing it perfection. This just happened to go in perfection right in the corner. It is a great feeling. It's what the game's all about, and goals make games.
The smiling 70s were a great decade to be a Leicester fan. They weren't bad times to be a player either. Maybe not the most successful club of the decade, but certainly the most entertaining.
Glover, and he's got it! And Birchinall high in the air, straight watching it just in case, and it nearly did creep on the bar. Jonas, it's a goal by Brown.
Leading the way, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Frank Worthington! Yes, turning heads on and off the field with flicks and tricks and a spectacular sense of style.
There was only ever 2 or 3 wives or girlfriends in this little piddly room we used to have for a players' lounge. And Frank comes in, and if you can picture it, first of all, the tightest denim jeans you've ever seen in your life, and I mean tight, I'll leave the rest of the imagination, knee-length boots, big buckle belt with Elvis across, black T-shirt with glitter with Elvis across the black T-shirt, and a black velvet jacket with little rosebuds all over it, and a Stetson.
Whatever Elvis wore, I wore. And then Alan Woollett and Mike Stringfellow would follow. I'm joking, Will.
The next home game we played, the players' room was rammed. Every player's wife that could get in there was in there to see Frank. He was a character, he was an unbelievable fella, but what a great player.
We knew Frank was going to do his own thing because he was so skillful and scored his fair share of goals.
You don't see too many left-footed players about, and they seem to ooze with class. If he had a bit more pace, he would have been built to it.
All they've got to do is give me the ball. And then, you just do the rest with your own instincts, with your own abilities, and your own style of play.
And West Ham now just about 5 minutes away from what could be their first win of the season. Oh, but here's Worthington away now. Now, maybe this is it. And it's not the first win of the season because Worthington has equalised. A goal out of nothing.
We played adventurous, flowing football, and the fans loved it.
Heskey. Petty making a run inside him. It's still Heskey! Oh, I say!
I think I'd come off the pitch injured, and then come back on, and the ball came to me straight away. Just took it along. I remember being on the left side and just getting a clean strike on it into the corner. The emotions just take over. You don't know what you're going to do or how you're going to celebrate or anything.
When the going got tough for Leicester, few got going better than Steve Walsh. A real warrior of a centre-half, and a half-decent centre-forward too. every manager's dream combination.
There was a period in my time where, you know, we needed to score some goals, and, you know, on the training ground he always played as a centre forward in little games. He loved it, and always scored lots of goals, so we decided to give it a go.
And there was one time when Walsh's goals were needed more than most, the '94 playoff final at Wembley, as Leicester trailed Derby County by Tommy Johnson's goal.
Blake for Leicester. Coatsworth, that's a dangerous ball, that. And the keeper's beaten to it by Walsh, it's gone in! Steve Walsh! Leicester are level!
He was a real strong person on the field of play for me. The number of times on a Friday we'd talk to Walsh when he had a bad leg or a bad head or whatever, and you'd look at the game and say, I'm not sure, but as soon as you got him near the ground, just the adrenaline that would run through his system, he wanted to play. And he was just fantastic for me.
Race, Thompson, Walsh, good ball back into Joachim. Bit of magic from him perhaps. It's a good ball. Grayson, when it goes towards Overroyd, brilliant save, it's in! Walsh has scored! Leicester City are in dreamland now. That might be the goal that finally takes them to heaven.
Inside, it was a marvellous feeling, and winning that particular day was very, very important for me, based on the fact that I'd lost 2 finals previously and I just didn't want to lose a 3rd one.
And that's the final whistle. Leicester City have done it. Twice the Wembley losers, now the Wembley champions. And Steve Walsh has come back to give them glory and a place in the Premiership at long, long last.
The League Cup triumph of 1997 sent Leicester heading to the continent and the UEFA Cup.
When you step into the job as manager of the football club, if you dare dream about anything, it was playing European football.
It was really exciting for us to go and play in, you know, such a great stadium and great atmosphere, and they're a world-class team then.
Atletico Madrid had spent, I think, about 35 million in the summer, including buying Juninho off Middlesbrough, and Christian Vieri was playing as well.
And the look on their faces when Marshy scored, like, you know, even we couldn't believe it that we're taking the lead.
Sadly, Juninho and some questionable refereeing decisions combined to give Leicester an early exit. But it was certainly fun while it lasted. If your manager's rumoured to be on his way out, there's only one way to convince him to stay.
There's plenty of talk of Martin maybe leaving. He's been linked with numerous clubs, and you know, to get that goal that night was special because it's the winner as well.
And Guppy delivers it. Sinclair almost got in behind the last defender. Tremendous goal! Oh, what an effort by Muzzy, is it? That was a brilliant volley, and might well be the winner.
Martin sort of kicks every ball with it from the sideline, so I think he was pleased with that one.
That was a very special moment for myself, and the crowd had got right behind the team, got right behind myself, and it couldn't have been better.
I don't know if it helped Martin's decision of staying, but you know, it was a goal that we needed a win to maybe to keep Martin to stay.
My favourite goal was Lillian Nallis against Leeds.
Marcus Spence, not too much on in the middle for him. Dickoff has arrived in the box now, so too has Nallis. But he's picked out Craig Hignett. Behind Dickoff, cleared by Morris. Nallis! What a goal! That is outstanding!
I thought it was tremendous the way he took that. We were right behind the goal and just saw that just fly in the back of the net. Excellent goal.
Seen some good ones over the years, but I think it's probably one of the best goals ever I've seen at Leicester.
Some say it was just hit a note, but they got to go in the back of the net.
And I'd love to see him have a few more shots like that from right out, because many's the time he looks and I think he's going to shoot and he doesn't, and I just wish he would, because he might just get a brilliant goal.
It struck it top corner, and it's probably one of the best goals I've seen at Rock Stadium.
a special goal. You know, we played particularly well that night, but I think Lillian's goal really shone. I'm thinking there on the bench, listen, bring it down, play it wide, let's get the ball back in the box. But he instantly smashed it in a 30-yard volley, and you know, it was worthy of winning a game.
A breathtaking first goal for Leicester for Lilian Nallis.
Taggart to take the free kick for Leicester. On by Heskey towards Collymore, who scores! That is the very best of Stan Collymore.
One of the best sides that we had in my time there, and that we played only once, and it was against Sunderland. And we had Stan Collymore playing centre forward alongside Emile. We had the midfield, which was really strong, competitive, and could play like Izzet Lennon and Savage. And we were strong at the back, and we hammered Sunderland 5-2 in the game.
Lennon's cross, and Collymore! He's done it again!
If ever there was any sort of a tinge of sadness that we weren't able to continue with that side for maybe to the end of the season, just to see how far it would go. A couple of things happened. Emile wanted to go to Liverpool. Stan Collymore had arrived in and was getting fitter by the day, until a week or two later he broke his ankle. And that was a shame that the crowd at Fulwood Street didn't see that particular side more often, because it was a ferociously strong team and absolutely full of talent.
Jock Wallace was Leicester's manager from 1978 to 82. He was a man who liked to keep everyone on their toes.
Well, it's wet and it's miserable on the day that Leicester City's footballers have been dreading for weeks, because this is the day that they have to tackle this, the hill. Indeed, one of 3 hills just outside Leicester that their new manager, Jock Wallace, has selected for some very special training.
On crocodile. Hands off that bloody sign. Come on.
The players say you're an impressive guy, but they've never really trained like this before, they say.
Well, that's their problem, eh?
But this is obviously something you believe in, Jock.
Well, I believe a man's superbly fit. It just depends on ability and form then. So we're cut down all the time. If you're fit, then your morale's good, your mental attitude's good, and they are in good morale and they're in good fitness at the moment.
Jock Wallace has just announced you've got to do it all again.
Yeah, terrific. Huh? It's all right for him staying out of the far side.
You think you can manage it again?
Yeah, I'll have to.
Come on! Go on, Dennis. Go on, Dennis. Keep your hands off the set.
Whatever the methods, they were working. In 1980, Wallace led Leicester back to the top flight of English football, and he wasn't just taking them along for the ride.
Looks for Henderson, early ball in, it was a good one too, Williams. Buchanan. And stand back for Peake. Yes! Andy Peake.
I'm looking to win it. I'm not looking to talk about survival. We didn't come back and talk about survival last year. We talked about winning the league, and that's what I'm doing now.
Is that really realistic, your first season up in Division 1?
You asked me a question, I gave you an answer.
One August goal summed up Leicester's ambitions more than most.
We're still scoreless. Here goes Peake, setting himself for the drive. Oh, what a goal! That is beautiful! Andy Peake, his first ever First Division goal. He'll never score a better one. And he's beat one of the greatest goalkeepers in the world from what? 30 yards. 1-0, the first goal of the season for Leicester. And he took it as coolly as any veteran. Makes the angle and says, voila! Look at the bend and curve on that. Clemens had got no chance. What a goal!
Sadly for Wallace, Peake and the boys, the optimism and the spectacular goals quickly ran out. 9 months later, they returned from whence they came, with relegation back to the second division.
It's stupid to say we won the league at the start of the season. I've since had my fingers burnt, but if we survive this year, then we'll take a bit of beating this year. Whichever happens, we'll take a bit of beating because they've learned a hell of a lot this year.
Yes, unfortunately got the table the wrong way around on that prediction, Jock, didn't he?
Yeah, well, might be a devil this year. I was God last year, you know what I mean?
It was a dawn meeting in Leicester. The chairman flew in by helicopter
the new manager arrived in rather more conventional style. Things have certainly happened quickly. O'Neill only resigned from Norwich City on Sunday. Now he's joined Leicester with a lucrative 3-year contract.
I genuinely have looked at Leicester from the last year. Style has changed a little bit. Seems as if we've got a few quality players in as well too. So it's all set up here for promotion.
O'Neill was ultimately proved right, but his promotion plan would take time. So too would the acquisition of a host of new faces. In the end, their place in the playoffs that season was only confirmed with a last-day victory at Watford.
And that's a good-looking cross. Robin goes up, away by White, and back again, they've scored! Leicester City take the lead, and would you believe it? The goal comes from Muzzy, is it?
We've got into the playoffs. We've had a fantastic run at the end. Voice has gone completely.
And you play Stoke next week at home in the first leg.
Stoke. Listen, it can go any way as well too. We know that there, but it's delightful to be there.
Gary Parker's goal steered Leicester through that playoff semi-final at Stoke. A thrilling 2 hours at Wembley awaited.
It just turned out to be such a perfect day. Like, you know, the way the game went, extra time, the way we played, and in the end, we really deserved it that day.
Houghton. It's a good-looking ball through, and it's in! Andy Roberts scores! Palace are in front! Wizards continued his run down the left, and Walsh, with a glorious ball, sets him clear. That could be a penalty, it is! They're celebrating already, but there's a rather important kick to come yet. Gary Parker, never afraid to take responsibility, will take the kick. And a level! Kalat says, look, I am the king when it comes to penalty shootouts. You get me on there and I'll win you this match.
About 6.5 seconds left to the game. Zelko went onto the field, putting his gloves on, said, "Don't worry, I'll win it for you." And, you know, to this day, that some of the Crystal Palace players say that they were actually disturbed by the substitution taking place and lost a little bit of concentration.
That could be the winner from Claridge. It is! Stevie Claridge has given Leicester a place in the Premiership. And Martin O'Neill's masterstroke, in the most unexpected way, has paid off. And the man he signed for £1 million has scored a goal that's worth a lot more than that.
It's just a perfect end. I thought that Eddie John thought, oh, it'd be nice to get a goal. They just forgot about it. The ball just set up and I've shinned it in, so it's brilliant.
You shinned it in?
Well, I think so. I don't know what I can't feel, my legs are just cramping and everything, but it's just a great feeling. I can't believe it. Best feeling in the world.
It was a great goal for us, but like I say, the importance of it, not only was it a great goal, but it got us promoted into the Premier League, and it kick-started a lot of our careers off.
Just seemed to go in slow motion straight into the back of the net.
Yeah, it just seemed to go in slow motion and everything like that, but yeah, it was a great goal.
Then the crowd just went wild and that was it, we were in.
He scored a few crucial goals for Leicester, including that one, as you say, off his shin. Bit of good fortune from Steve.
Everybody said the world stood still then, but from then on to get back in the Premiership, good years ahead then under O'Neill, it probably meant everything to the club at the time.
Oh, just ecstatic, because we were all concerned with the keeper being brought on. 2 minutes going to penalties, and next thing you know, bang, the old ends up.
Obviously the technique to Steve to hit off his shin from 25 yards was, it was one of them goals that you'll never forget, because, like I say, it meant so much to the club and to each and every single one of us.
And Martin O'Neill's masterstroke, in the most unexpected way, has paid off.
And finally, we get to number 1, and it's a goal by an ex-teammate of mine and buddy. A fantastic goal. Sublime skills, could beat anybody on his day, lifted people off the seats, magical. This goal was against Luton Town in the FA Cup. Who was there can never forget that day. It was the one and only Keith Weller.
Back to that famous cup run of 74 and a golden goal to crown a golden performance.
I remember a game at Luton. I mean, it's still, for me, so vivid in my memory. It was one of the best displays of a Leicester City side ever, I think. It was a bog of the pitch down at Kenilworth Road. They were riding high in the 2nd division. They could have turned us over, you know, but this particular day, every Leicester City player was on song.
Birchinall taking it up. Rofe making a tremendous run down there for Leicester City. Inside again for Earl. Flicked on and a goal by Stevie Earl. Beautifully played by Leicester City. Birchinall's jump. Worthington's stretch. And Glover now in possession for Leicester. There's the cross again. And yes, it's Steve Earl, the number 2. Killer goal. Weller cutting it out for Leicester. Worthington's in the middle waiting for him. And Weller got it across and Worthington went in! 3-0. Whitworth to Weller. Lovely close control there by Weller. Still with Weller. Oh, and what a fantastic goal! What a tremendous goal by Keith Weller.
Leicester players who played with him and supporters who watched him would definitely have Keith in the top 5 outfield players.
After the game, there was a knock on the door, and it was Malcolm Allison. And he said, Jimmy Bloomfield, can I have a couple of minutes with the lads? And we all stood back. You know, Manchester City manager in our dressing room, and Jimmy, being the nice guy he was, said, no, certainly. And Malcolm Allison just said, today I've seen the best attacking performance I've ever seen from any British club, and that's including my own. And that was a statement. You know, that is what we were going forward. We're brilliant.
Whitworth to Weller. Lovely close control there by Weller. Still with Weller. Oh, and what a fantastic goal! What a tremendous goal by Keith Weller.
You rounded it off in the most spectacular style with a goal that I'm sure goes straight into our golden goal file.
I hope so.
You seem to beat no end of players.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those things, Brian. You know, the ball came and probably I should have knocked it off to John Samuels when he went on this little overlap run here, but I just turned round and got by one. And then the next guy come in, and I seemed to slip him as well. And just got it past the next fella. And then here I thought I'd overrun it a bit, you know, because the centre-half was coming out. But I managed to just tow it past him as well. And then just hit it with my left foot, and I'd either go in or they go over, and fortunately it flew in.
So Keith Weller, the scorer of the club's #1 goal in its history as voted by the Leicester City supporters. I wouldn't argue with that, or with most of the countdown. Mind you, the Birch ain't too happy, but he wouldn't be, would he?
119 with a goal like that. There is 118 better than that. I want to see this video. I'm upset about this now. I wouldn't have spent all day doing this if I'd have thought I was 119th. Thank you. News at 10, Beaver Drive Training Ground, AJB Birchenheimer, The Birch. Good night. Thank you.